Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias. Okay, when last we met, we were talking about the RR2410 StoneWorx Copperhead, which was a new pattern introduced into the StoneWorx line. And now I'm going to look at a knife that I really debated a little bit on if I was going to pick it up or not. And that's primarily because this is one of my least favorite patterns of knives. This is going to be the RR2410, and it is the little lady's knife. Like I mentioned, this is not one of my favorite patterns. Well, actually, probably one of my least favorite patterns, but Rough Ryder turns out a whole lot of these things, and I think the main reason they do that is because it's very popular among the collectors. It seems like just about every series they make these days has a lady's leg knife in it. This seems to be the knife that has replaced either the peanut or the tiny toothpick when it comes to the small pattern that they're going to include with this series. So you'll usually see this before you'll see the peanut or the small toothpick. One of those will be missing and this will be there instead. Kind of a fact of life. So if you don't like them, I can understand it, but it's just really popular and they sell really well at the moment. I was actually debating if I'm going to get the series, then I probably need to go ahead and pick this up. So I picked it up with the hopes of it making me go ahead and get the entire new series of the new StoneWorx knives. The real true sign of commitment will be when I pick up the Trapper. We'll see when that happens. But in any case, let's go over this a little bit, but first I want to bring back the box for a second. So here's the box for the lady's leg knife. And there's the standard box that you get with all the other StoneWorx knives. And I wanted to show you that because, well, here's the old 5-inch toothpick. It would comfortably fit inside this box. Actually comfortably fit. There's very few of the only one I think would not fit in this box is the new Hawkbill. It's the only one that would not fit. It just barely misses the mark. The Hawkbill would not have fit in the box, but just about every other knife in the StoneWorx series, the new StoneWorx series, would have fit inside this box fairly well. So I don't know why they didn't use this box or a box just slightly larger and make them all the same size. Anyway, let's get back to the knife. First, I'm going to go over the build quality of it because once again, if you can see there, the blade, if you're looking for a centered blade, this one definitely does not have a centered blade. Does it hit? I don't believe it hits. You can definitely push it over a bit. I'm sure those who are really crazy about it will go out there and recenter the blade if you want to do that, more power to you. It's not that big a deal to me. You also see on the back here, if I can get it to show, let's see if I can get that to show a little bit better. Lighting is awful today for some reason, and I'm actually using some natural lighting from outside too. But in any case, there is definitely a gap right there. Enough of a gap that when you open it up, you can actually see daylight passing through there. Oh, look, I can actually see daylight passing through there. And that is between the back spring and the liner, so does not do anything to hurt the function of the knife or anything like that. The stones are all well placed, and there's no gap in between the stones and the brass liner, so that's all good. You've got the nickel silver liners in between the stones, and it all feels, you can feel the ripple as you run your hand over it. It's still smooth, but you can feel the ripples. But all the stones feel like they're nicely set and everything. You have the nice pinch bolster at the top with the single ring or thread, whichever way you want to call it. And then you got the little shoe at the bottom, your high heel shoe there, that may or may not, I got a little burr there. Can you see that? There's an actual little burr there that I'm going to have to knock off. At least I think there's a burr there. Doesn't feel sharp. It might have picked up a hair or something. There is a little bit of a gappage there. Oh, there it is. Don't know what it is. Oh, it's like metal shavings, but it's a little magnetized, so I got to clean it out, I guess. None of these knives are cleaned out, so, but the action on it is, I would give it 3 or 4, very light. Nothing dramatically hard about opening this. It does stay where it belongs. Again, you see here 440B, and that is the pattern number there again, the 2410. No longer saying razor sharp out there. No other marks on the blade either. I think the swedge is, I wouldn't say it's perfectly matched, but it's better matched than I've seen on a couple of the other ones that I've had. So it's not too bad at all. The build quality is more or less there, other than a very light spring. But that light spring is also shows up on a lot of the other lady leg knives that they make. So that must be just the tolerance that they're using on it. And you see the stones here. What you got are the faux turquoise, and then you got a red stripe up here, which is supposed to be like the bloody basin jasper or your red jasper. And then going from there, you have white lip mother of pearl, black lip mother of pearl, and abalone in the middle. And the same is carried over on the other side. What bothers me about this one is I wish they would have run a red stone down here as well, like they did up there, so that you would have at least the lines kind of matching. The fact that you do not have a red one down here and you have one up here bothers me a little bit. That's, I guess, some of my I don't know. Anyway, it just bothers me. I would like it to be a little more symmetrical. They could have also had this entire top up here red. That would have been fine with me too. And then blue down here. That would have been fine. It just feels like there's a stone missing. That's the problem I have with it, the way it is laid out right now. The other problem I have with it is when I look at this knife and I look at the previous little lady knife, little leg knife that they made in the StoneWorx series. Let me grab that one for you real quick. Okay, here is the other lady leg knife, and you notice now you have a large chunk of white mother of pearl up there. You have the blue turquoise, the red jasper, you have black lip mother of pearl, red jasper, black lip mother of pearl, and then white lip mother of pearl. And the way it is lined up is the slant is in the same direction as the shoe is. And to me, that just makes a much more elegant looking knife handle. And you also notice at the top, you have the crown bolster versus the pinch bolster of the new series. The only negative I have on this knife is, well, you got a blade edge on there, the StoneWorx blade edge. Now this one is also in 440A instead of 440B, so this does not use quite as good of a quality steel. I would say, well, 440A is slightly less than a 440B. 440B is your typical AUS 8. 440A is 440A. It's basically an AUS 6, so it's a step down in quality. Both of these, I think, are at 5860 in the hardness, though, so you've got that going for it. But you tell me which pattern of stones looks better to you. For me, this one just looks so much nicer. This one kind of looks a little bit jumbled and confusing to me. This one has some, it just has a lot more style going on for it. That's my thoughts on it. Now, obviously, you notice this one, there is no swedge, there is no half stop. The blade pull on this one is about 4 or 5. The lineup on the blade centering is slightly better, and there is no gapping at all on the backside here, even between the liner and the back spring. So the build quality on the earlier one was also better, in my opinion. Now, obviously, no blade swedge, and no half stop, but build quality wise, to me, this one is still better. The half stop, I'm indifferent to half stops. Most blade swedges that they've been putting on do nothing to improve the functionality of the knife. They just make it look a little bit better. And I will be the first to admit that blade wise, I like the looks of the non-blade etched knife much better. I wish StoneWorx would have never put a blade etch on the knives. Originally, when they came out, they did not have a blade etch. They did this only for the last series that came out. This knife only appeared in the last line of StoneWorx knives that have the crown on the top. So that's why I picked it up, because I was filling out the ones with the crown on the top, and there wasn't a lady's leg knife, so I went ahead and grabbed it. There were other StoneWorx knives that came out, they repeated the Trapper with the blade etch. When they pulled this one out, it had the exact same stones and everything else. I said, forget it, I don't need it with the blade etch. I just want it, I've got the old one without the blade etch. I'm good with that. Two things that were the saving graces on these knives was the fact that, one, no big R, and two, no blade etch. So I'm glad they ditched the blade etch. I think they've heard from enough people about that to get rid of the blade etch. And so I am kind of happy that it came out. I'm kind of happy I picked it up, but the stone layout on this knife could have been a lot better. That's really what it comes down to. I'm a little disappointed in the stone pattern on this knife. One more lady's leg knife in the StoneWorx series that I want to show you too, though, and then we'll call this one quits. Now, I think this was part of the second add-on series that came out with the StoneWorx knives. So it wasn't included in the initial 12, but then they came out with 3 more knives in the StoneWorx series, and this lady's leg knife was one of them, and you don't see it very often. So I thought I'd break it out and show it and compare it to the new lady's leg knife. And really, I wish what they would have done is re-release this one in new stones. That would have been cool, because these stones, when they came out with these next 3 knives, all 3 of the knives had the stones laid out the exact same way, and these stones matched the layout of the stones that appeared in the first Rough Ryder StoneWorx Series canoe. They used this stone layout for quite a few of the later StoneWorx knives. And it's okay, but what I would have preferred to have seen in this would have been turquoise on the outside, and then the Bloody Basin Jasper here. I like the blue more than the red, but this has really grown on me, especially with this knife, because this knife is almost like the centerpiece of my StoneWorx collection, because not a lot of them were made, and Rough Ryder just has not produced a lot of leg knives this big in this pattern. This is not a small knife, as you can tell anyway, but just to show you, it is actually 5 inches long from the tip of toe to the top of the crown there. And you can see it easily when you compare it to your typical lady's leg knife, which is what, 3 1/8, 3 1/4. What is this? Should have done earlier. I'll do that again later. Yeah, this is right at 3 1/8 inches long, so much bigger knife. And well, let's look at this too, though, man. It's got 2 blades on it. Look at that so-called pin blade, which is really a small spear blade. Look at that. Pretty awesome. And then you've got a really nice clip blade going on there. And the clip blade here has a swedge and everything else. You see the swedge. It's got the half stop rocking. Blade centering is really good on this knife. Really good. As well as the back build here. You know, it got really good finish. There's not a lot of gapping or anything. Stones are well set. Blade action is terrific. This is the knife I wish they would have put into the lineup instead of the little lady leg knife. Yeah, this would have been a little bit more. The little lady leg knife, I think, is a little cheaper than the typical StoneWorx knife. The typical ones now are running at $22. I think this is a little cheaper. I might be wrong. I'll put the price in there though. This would have probably been in the $24 range or more because of how large it is and the size of the stones and everything. But this is the direction I think they should have gone. I would love to see them bring this one back in the new StoneWorx series though. I'd like to see that with the pinch bolster and the stones lined up more like what you see here though. These are not nearly as annoying as these are. You see, which ones do you think look better? I mean, they're kind of still going opposite direction here, but the angle is closer to a 90-degree angle to the shoe as to this one where the angle doesn't line up with anything. At least this one is 90 degrees from the point of the shoe. And it wouldn't have looked nearly as good if it was running straight up and down. So this one looks really good with the way it lined up the stones too. Any case, there you have it. There's the older lady leg knives, and here's the latest lady leg knife in the StoneWorx series. Stay tuned. We'll get to the other knives in the next episode. like to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with the Pious. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.